Morning folks, and welcome back to the track. Now, with me rearranging my layout very recently, it got me thinking, what kind of track is the best track you could possibly use to build a layout? And that brought me round to the thought of the 24-hour slot car Le Mans races, which I've covered in the past. Because whatever track is used for a 24-hour non-stop race with 20 cars running on it all simultaneously, it must be pretty good quality track. So I invited the race director and creator of the 24-hour slot car Le Mans, Gary, to come round with samples of that actual track and see if we could rebuild my layout using that track, just to find out what sort of track it is and why they use it for the 24-hour slot car Le Mans. And most importantly, should I buy it myself? So that is coming up right now. This is the actual track that's used in the 24-hour slot car Le Mans, and you can definitely see why this Ninco track is the track that they chose to use. If you look at the surface of the track, it's got like a rough surface so that the tyres grip the track better. You can see that the quality of the plastic is much better than the Scale Extric as well, far better. It just looks a much nicer setup, just so we can have a little comparison. So here's a piece of my Scale Extric straight, standard straight, and here's an Ninco straight, and actually it's quite considerable. My goodness, it's a big difference. Look at that, look at that. So this is the Ninco underneath, this is the Scale Extric on top. There is a serious width difference there. And if you look at the length, there's quite a serious length difference as well. With Carrera, Gary, is Carrera even bigger still than the Ninco?
Yeah, Carrera's the largest because it's made for their 124 cars.
Right, of course, yeah. So could you run a 124 on this Ninco, or is it too small?
Some people have.
Okay.
I know a club in Southend that used to run 24 classic cars.
Right.
Which are, obviously the classic cars are older, so they're narrower.
Yes.
Than like a modern GT car would be.
Now these barriers are very similar to Scale Extric. If we look at the barriers, very, very similar. So they do look a bit more solid than the Scale Extric though, if I'm honest. And here we've got the controllers, which again, these do, definitely feel better than the Scale Extric ones. They feel more precise.
The thing with them being 35 ohm is they're a lot more responsive.
Right.
Scale Extric and Carrera will typically make high ohm value controllers, so they'll be 60 or something like that.
Right.
Which means the power's spread out a lot more. So
right.
You might have experience of using a Scale Extric where the car doesn't move until you're right at the end of the trigger travel.
Okay.
That won't happen with these.
But you were saying here that some of these sections are made in China and some of them are made in Spain, and there was a notable difference, wasn't there, between the quality of the ones that were made in China and the ones that were made in Spain?
All of the latest stuff was moved to China for the production.
Right.
And the quality is just not there.
So we have stripped the track off the boards. We have got the same existing board as we had with the Scale Extric track on, and now we are going to try and do our best to assemble the Ninco track on the same layout. So the one thing I'm noticing when I'm putting this together is how solid these things clip together. I mean, they really do go. You can hear them clicking into place. It's a good solid sort of, you hold it up like that and then you bend it down, line it up, and then you can actually hear it. So basically what you're doing is you're lining it up like that and you can hear that. There's a really solid click. Hear that? So that really does click solidly into place. It's a good solid track. We're sort of getting there now. As you can see, we are on the way towards very, very similar layout. We can't quite get the length exactly the same. We haven't got enough straights, just short of a few straights, or one set of straights really, but as you can see, very, very similar layout now. The key thing is with this, straight away, the quality of this is just so much better than the Scale Extra. There's absolutely no question. The way it clips together, the way it looks, the surface, the way it sort of feels, the whole thing just feels just considerably better quality. These are the bridge supports, very different from the Scale Extra ones, which are just like the little circular ones that drop into a specially moulded piece of track. Now these don't go into moulded track, but I quite like these actually. They're simple and they just go onto any section of a straight. These outer pieces are similar to Scale Electric, if I'm honest. They do remind me of the Scale Electric, the old style Scale Electric. We are almost there. Here we go. This is the track layout connected up. Some observations on this now, because the track is much stiffer than the Scale Electric and the straights are longer, it's allowed us to make a much longer bridge. Look, so as the bridge comes up, it's much longer. The disadvantage of the longer bridge though is that obviously you're still dropping when you hit the corner. We've done it. We have put the Ninco track together as near as we possibly can to the same layout as my track, and my goodness, does it look good. It just looks good. It just looks so much better than my Scale Electric version of the same track. It looks very clean, it looks much more solidly built, it just looks just really good quality, and you can see, I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but you can see why they use this for the 24-hour slot races. But I'm going to give it a try now and see what it's like. And so here we go. So yeah, this is what I'm noticing is there's virtually no slip. So when I go down the track, first point I've noticed is that the track allows the car to sort of grip because it's a textured surface. It's a much better grip. One of the big things to point out that I've noticed, when I'm on the Scale Electric version of this layout, when I get to this main Granger straight, as I call it, just here, I bang it open. What I have to do on the Scale Electric is immediately get off the throttle. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm on the throttle down here. So I come to here, on the throttle, I'm off the throttle, probably about here. I'm off the throttle. And what will happen is on the Scale Electric is the car will continue to glide down the track until it gets to there. It will just carry on, it will just keep going. So by the time it gets into the corner, if you're not off the throttle, by the time you reach the power level here, the car will be down there and outside the track. What I've noticed with this one, what you'll see is, the minute I get off the throttle, the car stops. It's got braking, in other words. This is what Gary calls braking. So the way this track's set up is the minute when you're off the throttle, there's no gliding of the car just stops. So what that means is, I'm guessing you can set much faster lap times because you can take the car right the way down the track. See that? Right the way down the track. In fact, we set up a marker point for braking here, so you can go right down, and even then, I've gone a bit too fast into that bridge there, but even then, you're almost braking too early. So you can almost brake when you're in the corner. You can't do that on the Scale Electric. This is going to be interesting because this is my favourite car of all time, and unfortunately, on the Scale Electric track, it doesn't move. This thing does not move. All it does, you put the throttle on, it just slides. It literally just slides all over the track. It virtually can't get up the hill at all when you try it on a bridge. I know I need to film this, and I will put this on to film. So what I'm going to do now is try this same car, because of the textured surface, we're going to try the same car on the Ninco track and see what the difference is. And look at that. I mean, straight away, it's just running. And that shows the difference between a textured surface and the smooth surface which the Scalextric is on. This car is now running near perfectly. Oh, there's absolutely no way that this car could run on the Scalextric track and get anything like this, anything like it. I mean, we're not that tiny, but it's tore its tyre off. Now, it does tear its tyre off quite a lot. This does happen a fair bit. This is a Ninko car running on a Ninko track. This is the famous car that we did a video on before Christmas last year, and this is the one that makes, as you can tell, a lot of noise. Makes even more noise when it's running on a Ninko track because the track surface brings out the volume even louder. Firstly and foremost, thank you so much for bringing this track round. There's a hell of a lot of stuff to carry here, and you really have put a lot of effort into bringing it round, setting it all up to almost exactly the same as my track. I mean, this is the model of track that you use for the 24-hour Le Mans,
yeah,
I believe. And I'm presuming that you chose it for the 24-hour Le Mans based on the quality compared to the others. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I grew up club racing on an Inco circuit, so I'm well used to it and I know what it can offer.
Right.
Most of the clubs that run plastic track worldwide really have tended to use an Inco.
Right.
So it's something that travelling teams coming from other countries would also be familiar with.
Yes. They'll
race on it in Spain or in Italy or wherever they're from.
So why did you go for this instead of, say, Carrera, which is also a good, German-made track?
It's just a familiarity, really. It offers the best grip.
Yeah, it certainly does.
And as we've discussed before, Carrera is a much larger footprint.
Yes.
So
yes, because we wouldn't have been able... That's a good point, because we would not have been able to build this track using Carrera. There just isn't enough room. I'm actually sold on this. I really am totally and utterly sold. And I'm quite, I think what I'm going to do is sell my Scalextric now. Having tried this, I'm going to sell the Scalextric and I'm going to buy the Ninko. What would be your recommended supplier for the Ninko?
The trouble with the Ninko is it's no longer made. So while there are stocks available in some retailers, you're going to have a hard time buying sets. And even
as in it's no longer made by Ninko, you mean?
Yeah, correct. So Ninko are still in business as a company,
right?
But they make radio control cars and other sort of hobby equipment, and they've moved away from the slot car market.
Oh,
so how you can find Ninko stuff, but it's not really available. So I can't buy it. As in, I can't buy it new from Ninko anymore. You wouldn't be able to buy a Ninko set now. No. But the 24-hour Le Mans, which takes up the whole hall, massive sports hall, is all Ninko. Correct. So in other words, you've got it all. I reckon you must have it all. I reckon pretty well all of it. I've probably got the most Ninko track out of people in the world. No, in the world, surely in the UK. Right, because you've got a lot. I mean, to build that 24-hour Le Mans circuit, that's a lot of track. Of course, but it's 4 lanes, and the big European analog races that use Ninko will use 8 butterfly tracks of 6 or 8 lanes. Right, so it's still out there being used by other, competitive sort of clubs. Yeah, as long as it remains functional, as soon as it starts to deteriorate, then they're going to obviously have to look toward another brand. It's a shame that Ninko no longer do this. It is a shame. It's the best track. It is the best track. In my opinion, and people who are maybe racing with Skeletor Polycar already might chime in and say, no, this is the best now. Yes. And I could take the argument, but I still haven't switched. No.
So for me, Minco is
and I say you're using it for the 24-hour Le Mans track, so that says a lot. You know? So for me, I'll be sticking with Scale Electric for the foreseeable future, which I'm sort of happy with. But the other thing this track has taught me is I need better handsets. I think that's without a doubt. I need a better handset, better bass controller. That also makes that's highlighted to me how important the handset is.
Yeah, definitely.
Controller.
I mean, you know, you can talk about the quality of a track and what it offers all day long.
Yes.
The thing that really impressed me when I bought this set to use at home was getting a handset. Because I'm quite used to using the sort of pro hobby level controllers that we use for club racing. And when I tried this, I thought, actually, this is pretty good.
That's pretty good, it's been really good. Do check out Gary's YouTube channel, by the way, which is Slot Car Racing.
Slot Car Racing, yeah.
Yeah, check out Gary's channel, because if you want to know all the ins and outs and technical details about slot car racing, beyond just me setting up a track and blasting round, do check out his channel, and I'll put a link to it on the video. We're going to have a bit more of a blast, actually. I think we just blast a few cars round. You know, it seems a shame to set it all up and not blast a few more. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. Thanks very much, Gary, for bringing this round. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll get out another one very, very soon. And yeah, take care. Right. This is interesting now. I have to admit, I've got the better car, eh?
You got the outside lane.
But I've got the outside lane. Ah! You know what? I'm doing all right though. Oh no! Again. Right, ready? It's how far you dare push it before you start taking your finger off the throttle.
That's racing.
Oh, come on! Flipping heck, this is close. Come on! Flipping heck, oh, he's got me now. He's got me.
I just turned up now.
I was just going to say, were you playing with me there, or were you actually?
I wasn't driving slowly, but I wasn't pushing it until that last time.
Because I just felt I was starting to lose it.
So, and then we'll see. There you go.
Right, 3, 2, 1, go.